Today I want to look at a car rear view camera. The reason for this camera is basically because my DVR rear camera broke. Now you gotta remember, this is a rear view camera for when you're backing up. Basically I thought I could use this with my DVR, my dash cam. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that, but I want to show you what you get and why this type of camera is kind of something you may like to go with, because it doesn't cover anything on your license plate. So basically, with all the rain that we had, my rear camera just died completely. We had some heavy rains and that rear camera is gone, but the front camera is still recording. And let me show you what you get here. On this particular seller, they included this tool to remove your panels. I didn't have one, which is kind of nice, so that's cool. Not all of them will include that, so just so you know. So I have the cable here, so you get the N, RC8N with the red, and then you get the red and negative on this side. This one is the same line here, so you connect either this one or that one in the back, either way, one or the other, but not both because it's the same wire. Just something to note. And finally, you get the what do you call it? The camera. And so that's what the box is. Sorry about that. I was looking at the parts, not the camera itself, but here we go. So this is the round one. The one in my car, the one I have stuck in there, it's a square one. But they sell this type of mount in the square type too, but I just couldn't find it. And basically the reason I like this particular setup is because this bracket, as you can see, it's the top is sort of welded, not welded, what do you call it, just blanked out on the name of that, spot welded. So anyways, this is what that looks like. It's very simple. The camera, as you can see, it's just sits there. So this part sits behind your license plate, and then all you see on the top above your license plate is the camera. And then, you know, if it's so small like this, you can barely see it, which is nice. This is, I already measured it, 1.5 millimeters thick, so it's metal and it's pretty thick. The only thing I think that could be improved is this. Actually, this is very strong too, but what I mean by that is, as you can see, the wires coming out through the side. So if this was thicker a little bit, and then they just put a hole in there that's as big as this so that it can come out straight, then that would probably be the best setup, so that it's not bending that way. Not a huge deal, but it could definitely have some improvements. And the reason I like this one is because you can only move it side to side. There's another one that has this openings vertically, so you can move it up and down, but I really don't see the need for that. Maybe some cars you might need it. Either way, I just like this because it sits, like I said, behind the license plate. Now, the reason I bought this particular model was because of the connection that it has on this particular camera. My DVR has 4 pins like this one, but the difference is, and this is the key, this is a 12 volt camera, so unless you get 12 volts going into it, it's not going to work. It doesn't show anything. And DVR has an output, I think it was a 5 volts. I measured like 3 point something, but it's supposed to be around 5. So I thought, you know, even though it's 12 volts, I thought I could still plug it in and use it as a DVR camera instead of a backup camera, since I don't have that. I mean, I do have it on my radio, but I don't use it. but I wanted to put this in there so I could have my rear view camera on my DVR. So number one is 12 volts, so it didn't work. And number two, when you plug this camera in, which I tested it on a small LCD that I have, it has those backup lines which you can't remove. I thought I saw another one where you could cut some wires and remove those lines. On this particular model you can't. It just shows the lines, which is kind of annoying, but it makes sense because it is a rear view camera. Although the choice to remove those lines would be pretty nice because not everybody wants them or likes them. So aside from those two things, then you know, the camera is actually pretty sweet. I like how small it is. Unfortunately, this one does not have a night LEDs, or what do you call it? Shoot, I'm blanking out so much today. The night vision or night view or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, what I like about it too is that if you, I can't hear it, let me see here. Just get a small screwdriver to show you. This is actual metal. Wait, yeah. No, I know this one is, but I think this one was too. So let me see if I can get it off here. I'm trying to remember if this, it feels like metal, but it doesn't. Maybe the coating on it, that's why you can't hear it too well. But yeah, it feels like aluminum, so it's pretty sturdy too. And this is how the camera is mounted from the back. It's kind of bent inward to face down, but you can bend it either up or down, whatever you want. Just don't do it too much or it will break. And that's what I mean by having this a little thicker. You know, you'll have a little more strength on there because that, although it works, it's kind of thin. So that's the camera. And I already marked the top because, you know, that you have to find the top of it before you can install it. But I mean, not much to it. So you can see it's just a ring. And just to note, excuse me, a lot of the cameras say waterproof, but as I mentioned, the other one I have, the squared one with 4 LEDs, was supposed to be waterproof too, but apparently it's not. So one thing you may want to do when you put this on, it's add a little bit of not just this camera, pretty much any of these small cameras. You definitely want to put some silicone around here just to make sure the water doesn't get in there. Now it has 2 small holes in the back, and I believe that maybe for heat purposes. I'm not sure, but I know if you leave those open, you probably get water in there anyways. So it's one of those things. You just gotta kind of play with it and see what works. But I'm sorry if I'm dragging a little too much here just on a simple camera, but I just thought I'd mention it because the cars that we have, they're kind of weird in the back, so it's very hard to get something there without being in the way. And another reason too is because I actually put my current camera under the trunk lid, and of course when Mom always opens it up, she always holds the camera and pushes it up, so my camera's always turned up or down. Because of that, you know, I thought it was a good spot. Obviously I found out it's not. The license plate is lower, there's no and it's farther in, so there's no way for somebody to accidentally grab it and move it. That's the other reason I've been looking at this particular type or model. So I hope that they will come out more often with something that you can use on a DVR or as a backup camera, and you know, have a choice with this type of brackets, whether it's square or round. So it would be nice to see more of those. And obviously both versions, they have 12 or 5 volts in this particular type of connector. The reason this is something you want is because if you ever have to make a hole in the back, it'll be really small versus having to make a hole this big in order to get this through. You know, this is much better anyway, so that way you're not gonna have a big old hole in the back. Most cars you probably won't, but yeah, it just makes more sense. And then if it's 5 volts, then you know you don't have to worry about ever having too much drain on that as well. So there you go. That's just a simple rear view camera look to see what they have and what they're like in here. So it was just one of those random videos, but since I'm trying to get that camera working again, I thought I'd make a small video about it. And yeah, this is definitely the one I would like because it's just a lot more stealthy, I guess. And if I can find one that's 5 volts, that would be nice. So there you go. I hope that helps in some ways, and until next time, I'll see you later.